Our last speaker this evening, and I must apologize, it's not the red wine that's getting to me, it's a bit of the old dreaded lurgy, the flu, and it's freezing. Our last speaker this evening is, of course, the headmaster, Mr. Anthony Reeler. Now, you know, we lost to Kes today, which is a humbling experience. And unfortunately, when things like that happen, all the responsibility has to be heaped on the shoulders of the headmaster. He cannot escape. He's in a terrible place at the moment. I hear that yesterday he had to pay on the golf course. They took him to the cleaners. His handicap has gone from 4 to 7. And we lost to Kes. But I know that he has some exciting and interesting things to tell us as the headmaster of this school, and he's already, can you believe it, nearing the end of his 4th year with us. And he is becoming very fast one of the great headmasters in the line of great headmasters that this school has had. Mr. Anthony Reeler.
Trevor, thank you very much for those very kind words of introduction. And to all of you here tonight, a very warm welcome to our school, to the special occasion of hosting the dinner this year in the hall. I'd like to, at the start of the dinner, just pay tribute to Thomas Rundle, the chairman of the Old Boys Association, for his tireless work that he does for the association, the incredible energy that he has, and he's one of those people that doesn't just have ideas, he sees those ideas through. What you see here and what you've experienced tonight is a culmination of the idea that he had to host it back in this venue. So, Thomas, to you, thank you very much indeed. I'd also like, before I begin my address to you, to echo what Trevor said to Minister Gordon. It was an absolute pleasure to listen to you, sir. It's been a pleasure to be your host and sit next to you at the dinner tonight and to listen to the wise words that you have. And I have a confidence in you and what you will be doing for local government for the next 5 years. Sir, I wish you all the very best for those 5 years. It is my customary role to provide you at the beginning with a state of affairs at the school. And I begin as usual by reporting on the 2013 matric results, which saw a 100% pass rate being achieved by the 295 candidates who wrote. Of these, 91.2% achieved what's called a bachelor pass rate these days, or the old university exemption or endorsement. And that to me is a far more impressive than a 100% pass rate, because you compare it with a provincial bachelor rate of 54%, and a national bachelor rate of 31%. This is one of the highest bachelor rates that we've had, and considering the number of boys that we matriculate, I think is an impressive statistic. But probably the stat that impresses me the most is that almost 90% of our boys do mathematics as a subject, as opposed to mathematical literacy, and 80% took and passed physical sciences. When you think that there are 19% of matriculants in the country that pass physical science, and 80% from Boys High do, I think that is another impressive statistic. So our academic program continues to be strong, and those of you who were with us at Assembly yesterday will know that we acknowledge the achievements of 2 of our Form 4 boys who represented South Africa internationally at an expo in America. Our class sizes, as many of you know, are all below 30, and our teaching complement is just over 100 teachers that we have to support the academic program. From academics onto what Trevor has referred to tonight, and let us talk about the elephant in the room. And that elephant in the room being the state not of sport at Boys High, but the state of rugby at Boys High. Because I don't think we must ever confuse the success of a school with the success of one activity that that school takes part in. I shared my concern with Thomas at some of the comments that were coming through on social media from old boys who purport to love the school so much, who had lots to say about the state of the school because of the results of 15 young boys who were trying their hardest every Saturday. And I think it's important that we understand that this is an area that we're not doing particularly well in at the moment, and I don't just refer to the first 15. Our rugby program is not as strong as it should be in a school of this size, but if you look at the rugby results from Pretoria boys the last 30 years, they're very similar to what they've been this year, on average. I can show you averages and statistics that show that there's a winning percentage of just under 55%. And that is a statistic over the last 30 years. It is not acceptable that as a school of excellence that we have statistics like this, and we will do what we can to fix it. And part of our program to fix it is that we're going through a process of appointing a director of coaching in rugby who will oversee the training program at the school and will help our coaches help our boys to be more successful in the field. This is in line with our philosophy and our ethos to ensure that conditioning, talent identification, and coaching is as good as it can possibly be. We will, however, continue to avoid buying players, and we will not be offering sports scholarships. I mentioned rugby as one of the 14 sports that we do at the school. And I wish to highlight the success that Trevor mentioned of our cricket program at the school that I think has done so well in the last few years. At the recent South African Club Championships, there were no fewer than 6 old boys in the final, 5 of them for the winning team from Tuks, and our congratulations go to them. Corbin is here tonight, and he was also part of that team that was with Aidan Markram at the Under-19 World Cup. Aidan was also selected as the Under-19 South African Cricket Player of the Year, a Boys High boy. You've seen a glimpse of our cultural program tonight with our choir, our Dixie band, pipe band, and our orchestra. And I'm sure you'll agree with me that the cultural program and the music program at the school has never, I think, been stronger. And I would like to compliment Neil van der Walt and his staff on the incredible work that they do. But also here tonight, I want to compliment a young man who's an old boy of the school who is sitting here, who's on the staff, who's in charge of our pipe band. And I wish to highlight the success of the pipe band this year in that they've taken part in a number of gatherings, and for the first time in the pipe band's history, they've won all 4 of the gatherings that they've taken part in so far. I think a phenomenal achievement to Robbie Blackmore and to his pipers and drummers. I think they deserve a round of applause. Well done. I was delighted and proud of the young man that represented the boys here tonight, and when Martinez spoke to you earlier in a particularly fine address, he spoke about what we often refer to at Boys High as the common man, the boy who is not the prefect, who's not the first team rugby captain, the boy who has no academic colours, but the boy who is as proud of Boys High as anybody can be. And I think that our school, and I'm often asked to describe our school, is I think our school is a school of opportunity, where you can, as a young boy, you can come here, you can find friends, but you can find something to get involved in. We have prided ourselves on holistic education for so long, believing in the all-round development of young boys. We must always be careful that we don't lose perspective when things aren't going well in one particular area. I spoke last year and I said the insistence that we do things for the right reasons is a fight that must be fought vigorously. We will not succumb to popular demands, and we will keep education at the forefront of all our decisions, no matter how unpopular that may make us. We will stand up to whatever forces confront us, be they from the state or from our own community, if those forces want us to move away from who we truly are. This statement remains true as we strive to keep what is good from the past and stay true to our values. But, gentlemen, the world has changed, and the world of education particularly so. There is heavy pressure on schools like ours to perform well all of the time. And I say with absolute confidence that the pressure these days for Pretoria Boys High to perform is far more so than ever before. Schools such as ours can no longer solely rely on our reputation to attract the best young boys, and we have to start actively marketing ourselves in the community to promote the Boys High name. While our very best marketers remain our boys, we need to spread the story of Boys High more and more, as we find there are more schools being built in places where, for example, traditionally we have obtained boarders from before. The education department in our country is under pressure at the moment, like never before, to produce better results, and results that can be credible to a suspicious public. That said, the state support for Boys High is phenomenal, and I give the state and the district credit for the support that they give us and the work that we do. The future of the school looks good, particularly seeing what's in store for the building in which we now sit. 50 years ago, this hall was remodeled to run north-south in an effort to accommodate the increasing number of boys. These days, we sit with the same overcrowding problem, which is why ex-Headmaster Bill Schroeder was tasked with leading a fundraising campaign these past 3 years to collect funds from old boys to rebuild a hall. He did a magnificent task, and with the campaign coming to an end, has collected almost 30 million rand. The initial project that was mooted was to build a brand new hall and to convert this one into a multi-purpose venue. This has proven over time not to be the most cost-effective manner of achieving our goal of housing the whole school. And so plans were redrawn and the whole process was rethought. Gentlemen, it is with great pleasure that I now show you an architect's vision of what this hall will look like in a year's time. I showed that video to the school, the boys, on Friday at assembly. Some of you were there, now I've seen it for the second time. I had to explain to some boys, and I hesitate to say that they were from Schoolhouse, that because they're women in that thing doesn't mean to say that we're going co-ed now. Starting on the 1st of September, or as close as possible to the 1st of September, the first phase of this project will be built. And this hall will be renovated. The quads that you saw and the building of those pods or the wings on the side of the hall will be built. Leading up to the second phase, which will be the building of the media center and the music center. The funding for phase 2 of this project, those funds still have to be collected. And we'll be expanding our fundraising wider in the hopes that we can finish this project. The initial target for the fundraising was 40 million. And that was for the new building and the refurbishment of this one, which when we looked at it last year, proved to be closer to 60 million over the cost over the 3 years. This refurbishment that we're talking about, that you've just seen, will retain the integrity of the original fundraising appeal, achieving the goal of housing the full school in a hall, and it will allow us, perhaps more importantly, to keep the hall in the heart of the school. This first phase will cost 26 million rand, which has already been raised. And so after 3 long years, the work will begin. A further 20 million is needed to complete the media and music centers, and this will be collected via the establishment of a fundraising foundation beyond the end of this current campaign. And the role of this foundation will be to allow old boys and others to contribute in perpetuity or to enable bequests to be left to the school. At a later stage, we're also going to be looking at corporate funding. We're in the process of looking at various models of staffing this foundation, and we'll have it up and running in the second half of this year. Included in the model will be the establishment of 2 further trusts used to provide buildings to the school and 1 used to provide bursaries for boys to attend the school. It is hoped that we will be able to complete this dream that you've just seen. None of this would be possible without the help of so many old boys and so many of you who are sitting here tonight, who gave so generously to the campaign. And on behalf of the school, I thank you. While we still have some way to go to complete the second phase, we are able to start. Gentlemen, in conclusion, this weekend, starting with the schoolhouse centenary celebrations on Thursday, which were wonderful to attend, the assembly and the golf yesterday, the sport today, and the dinner tonight, this weekend is about fellowship, about friendship, camaraderie, and brotherhood. Whether you are 60 or 70 years out of school, or whether you left school last year, I thank you for being here and for holding your old school so dear, and I look forward to hosting you again in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tony Reeler. What a task lies ahead for him. But if anybody is capable of fulfilling it, it is Tony Reeler. And so we can all go away this evening in the full knowledge that our school, our beloved institution, is in very, very capable and wonderful hands in our headmaster.